In studio joining me today is Vince Orieux. Vince, he's the head coach for the Holy Rosary Raiders football teams as well as the Red Dogs Bantam football teams. Now, Vince, you had quite the busy season here. Just take me through, both teams and sort of the schedules there.
Yeah, so the schedule, there's a lot of overlap and a lot of time management going on, but it's nice with the high school practices being right after school. Bantam practice starting at 6 o'clock. It was a few minutes late typically for a Bantam practice by the time I took care of business over at Holy Rosary, but it worked out, and high school games Fridays and Bantam games Saturdays, there wasn't too much juggling going on.
Now with the Raiders team, you guys found quite a bit of success, making it to the finals in not just the Wheatland Football League, but as well provincials. What do you think, how does that success come? What do you attribute that to?
Well, there's, it's not just one thing. You look back to, and we reference it all the time, our minor football program where kids are starting in Pee Wee and playing Bantam. And actually with the program we run at Holy Rosary with our Little Raiders flag football, we're going to see a huge benefit in that in our high school team next year, because the first Little Raiders are just graduating from Bantam football. And when you look at the list, there's about a dozen kids that played flag football in the 3rd and 4th grade that went right into Pee Wee, went into Bantam. Now they're going to be high school kids. The Pee Wee Colts that have won 3 provincial championships in a row, there's about a dozen kids that played flag football there. So there's lots going on to attribute to the success at the high school level.
It's sort of just all building from the ground up there.
Yeah, so we have 150 kids, say, in our Little Raiders flag football, and if we can keep 15 or 20 every year continuing into minor and then into high school, that's going to lead to success.
Now you mentioned, keeping some players on and players that will be sticking with your team. Quite a few of them will be on defenses. You guys won't be losing a lot. How important is that for next season?
We're going to have a lot of grade 12s on the defensive side next year, so getting some grade 10s that have that experience. We have to make a point of getting them on the field and getting them solid game minutes. So we can't just rely on our senior kids to carry us through the season and then graduate them and hope that grade 11 kids can lead the way. We have to make a point of getting kids on the field, like we did 2 years ago, where we had 7 or 8 grade 10s starting, and we saw the benefit this year, and it's going to be even better for us next year.
For sure, you guys had a dominating defense, with the provincial semifinal, winning 56-0, shutting out a team in the provincial semifinal. That's pretty impressive, but 56 points as well. You guys are a bit of a two-headed monster there. Yeah,
it was nice to see the balance. We have to start scoring more points in the championship games. Those are the ones we really want to win. Beating a weaker team by 56, it's great, it feels great, it's nice to punch your ticket to the final, but we have to keep that consistency even in the big games where we're playing defenses that are as dominant as ours.
So then, Vince, you mentioned big games. Let's just talk about that Cochrane final there. What do you think that they got that, it's 5 years in a row now? What do you think is sort of that wall standing between you and a championship?
Yeah, those guys, they play the game the way it was intended. They're fast, they're physical at every position. The receivers don't drop footballs typically. Their DBs have great feet. They cover they cover our receivers really well. They play well on defense and offensive line. They've been blessed with quarterbacks the past few years that rank up there as the best in the province, some of the best in the country. And they're really well coached. They've had consistency. Their head coach has been there for almost 30 years, and he knows how to win. He just knows how to win, and they breed that success. We have to get past that hurdle. We have to beat the best team in the province to be the best team in the province. And we're not running away. We're not going to tier 2. When we're not asking them to move up, they get a lot of pressure to go up a tier. They're a tier 2 school. They have 600 kids, a tier 3 school with 600 kids. They belong in tier 3, and we got to beat the best to be the best.
And exactly that, like you said, you got to beat the best to be the best. I mean, in any sport, any competition, you want to be the best. That's ultimately the end goal. So Vince, really quickly here, just give me a couple points on what we might see from next year's team.
You're going to see a grade 12 quarterback. You're going to see a couple of offensive linemen that have a tremendous amount of experience with provincial teams and on our team, and they're going to lead the way next year. We got some great grade 10s this year that are going to play huge roles next year, running back, fullback. Got some great receivers coming back, and on the defensive side, you're going to see a repeat of what you saw this year. We averaged about 6 points against per game. If we can improve on that, we will. But we're going to see a well-balanced team, both sides of the ball.
Well, Vince, I personally can't wait to see what next year has in store.
Thank you.